places. I love the Celtic phrase thin places, because there are times of life where it's just all very thin, where the spiritual and the natural world just are so close. It's like we can see the seamlessness. And I think we may only glimpse it for a second, but once we see it anywhere, we start to see that everywhere. And it's that's what I want to talk about today. How do we just sort of open ourselves to thin places? Well, first off is understanding so much of our lives are just covered with all kinds of just worries, concerns, money, health, all these external factors. And they are clear tribulation. Jesus was clear about that. In this world you will have tribulation. Like, he's really, really clear about that. And there's nothing wrong with your life if that's where you are this morning. That is part of life. And we're constantly being offered this other vision where we just get a glimpse in the midst of all this turmoil over here. We get these glimpses of these little thin places that we get to see. And that's one that's it's very resonant for me personally right now. Just watching parents go through things. We have a memorial service this weekend at New Church Live for a dear member of the congregation. All these things just bring to mind these thin places. And I want to read for you a passage, one that I read before, but I just think it's so powerful, because I think it's speaking to that of life, that there's, even in these midst of these really hard times, and in some ways, it's easier to see the thin places in the really hard times than it is in the really easy times. So let's take a look at that. Just a simple line from the book Secrets of Heaven, 2,955. So instead of death, there's life, and instead of night, there is morning. And I think that's true. We go through times that are deeply challenging, and all that extraneous stuff, it just goes. We're not worried about it. We're not concerned about it. It's not top of mind anymore. And we just get into this deep, very, very deep, very beautiful connection. I know being out in Pittsburgh this past weekend with some family, had wonderful visits with two of my three sisters, talked to the other one on the phone, talked to my brother. These things are just really, really beautiful, and they're thin places. And the fact is, we don't do that all the time, because all of us are so caught up with our lives, the mechanics of this, the mechanics of that. And then we hit these moments where it's like, oh, this is actually what matters. And that's the thin place where we really get to experience that. And I want to share with you one of my favorite quotes here from Elizabeth Barrett Browning. You'll see me avert my eyes over here because I have it up on my laptop right beside me. And it's a beautiful quote. It's where Elizabeth Barrett Browning said, "Earth is crammed with heaven." I love that idea. "In every common bush, afire with God. But only he who sees takes off his shoes. The rest sit around it and pluck blackberries and daub their natural faces unaware." It's just beautiful, because it's not shaming people. It's just saying, look, sometimes we're just not aware. We're all in that, right? Like, sometimes we'll see it, and we start to see it everywhere. All of a sudden, everything becomes more precious. And that's because we're in this tender place. And then other times we don't. We just simply, like, life just keeps on going. Not every bush is aflame with the glory of God. Not as you said, we don't see heaven crammed into every nook and cranny. We don't. We're worried about the bills is what we're worried about. And friends, so the takeaway for this is pretty straightforward. Take a breath and just see if you can see that little place. If you can see that thin place, you can find those places where earth is crammed with heaven. And you're not going to find it in the to-do list. You're not going to find all the worries and concerns that we all have, which are just crazy and kind of get us off track. But we will find it in this peace and shalom. And we will find it when we really learn to pay attention to the life that's right in front of us. Because I think the point of this quote is that it's there. Do we have the eyes to see it? Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Today, let's just try to make an effort to maybe see what's right there in front of us a little more clearly and give God thanks for that. So I hope that makes a lot of sense, friends. And what we're going to do now is we're going to shift gears. As we shift gears here at New Church Live, we come in for a gentle landing. We listen to a prayer bow. We do a little meditation from the Old Testament, prayer from the New Testament, and then back for a Levitican blessing. And then we'll say hi to folks on social media. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's take a quick look here. Take a quick little look. Somebody's coming on in here. Just 1 second, Em. Let me just finish this up. 2 minutes. And let me take a look here. All right, Martha, good morning to you, my friend. And I think, Martha, I saw you had a birthday pretty recently. That's pretty darn cool. All right, let me flip on over to here. You know what? My computer now has... Oh, there we go. Now my computer's decided to cooperate. All right, let's see how this goes here. All righty, Davey. Come on, Nelly. All right, Chignone, great to see you joining us this morning. Great quote. You will surely see that good in front of us. Yeah, you know what? It's such a beautiful quote. I remember the first time reading it, just thinking like, oh my goodness, that is like spot on. And Jean, good morning to you, my dear friend. I hope you're doing well. So friends, God bless you. Take care, and we will see you.